What's going on, Pats Nation? Welcome to another edition of the Cans Pats Talk Patriots podcast. I'm here again tonight, Tuesday, with my boy Stats. Man, what's going on with you?
Nothing much, man. Another busy day at camp. Got a little sunburnt today. It was a hot day in Foxborough. But I'm ready to talk some Patriots, man.
Man, we got a lot to talk about, man. We ain't gonna be here too long tonight, but we do have a lot to talk about, man. First off, you was at count today, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's going on, man? It's a mixed of review. I'm seeing some positive things and some negative things. What did you see? See, you was there, man. My opinion on that. I think we're gonna start with Matt Judon. Let's start with Matt Judon. Now he wasn't a participant at count day. He wasn't there, and I heard he wasn't even there in the facility at all. What's your take on the situation? Don't it seem like it's getting messy?
Yeah, so I don't love how Matt Judon's been handling it the last few days, but a report came out today. I believe it was Phil Perry. He said that the Patriots and Matt Judon feel good about an extension. So I find it a little weird that he didn't show up to the facilities today, but a report like that comes out, couple hours after. But if that's the case, then they got to get it done soon. But if not, like we've been saying, you got to trade him and get him, get value for him while you can, because who knows where he's going to be at. So we'll see about that. But yeah, I don't love how he's handling it. He's kind of turning into a little bit of a diva a little bit with this whole
Yeah.
situation. And like I've said, he definitely deserves more money for sure. He's making way too little for a guy of his skill. He's an extremely important part to this team. But the past couple of days, I haven't loved how he's handled this whole situation, and he needs to. We gotta get something done quick, whether moving him or giving him an extension.
Yeah, so you can move on, man. You got preseason games coming up next week. Next week against the Panthers. You got the Panthers joint practice with the Eagles. Then you got Washington down this way in Washington. So you need to get something done, whether it's a trade, a pay raise, extension, whatever you can do. Something has to get done because right now it's probably starting to become a distraction. Josh Uche got kicked out of practice the other day. He was back today. We'll talk about some of the practice results in a minute. What is going? Keon White. You got Keon. We already missing Christian Barmore. Devon Gottsall, he's been practicing. He's not been practicing. So you got a little bit of a depth situation going on there at defensive line. Then if you lose Matthew Judon, you got Judon without Christian Barmore. That's even more depth issue. So they got to get this thing figured out quick. Man, you thought something was going to happen next week. I think last weekend we said when Elliott Wolf and Matthew Judon and Robert Craddock was talking at practice, we thought something was going to end up happening, but nothing happened. So, I mean, who knows when it's going to happen? Maybe before the first preseason game, but if not, I'm very interested. Who would you like to see step up on that defensive line if we are without Matthew Judon like it looks like right now?
Well, the number one guy that everyone wants to say is Keon White, and he's done it. He's probably been the best Patriot consistently in all camp. As soon as the pads have come on, he's winning in every one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
No line has not been a scrap either. They've been playing really well, and Keon White just dominating them, giving the QBs no time, and that's what you need from a guy that wasn't, he didn't do much last year, but with the absence of Christian Barmore and maybe even Matthew Judon, you need a young guy like that to step up. And, you got to have guys now like Daniel Quale, Armand Watts. They need to step up. They need to be, more than
Farms.
Jeremiah Farms. They need to be more than just depth pieces at this point. They need to be guys that are ready to go and ready to play because they might have to. They're, bearing what's going on with Barmore and whatever happens with Matthew Judon. And T.H. is obviously going to be a solid player for you, but he's getting up there in age. He doesn't have the same burst anymore. So you're going to have those, unfortunately, the depth pieces who are solid depth guys, they're going to have to now step up into, starting role caliber players.
Hey, we're gonna see what happens, man. That situation, Barrett's monitoring, it's very interesting. It's getting, like I said, it's getting messy. I'm hoping something gets rectified with that soon, man. Cause that way we get some type of clarity. My gut feeling is they're gonna work out something because he's too much of a big time player for you. You kind of need him. Like you don't then if you don't have him, you're gonna have to start blitzing on first and second down to create negative plays and stuff like that. And we seen last year that Matthew Judon, they struggled to get a pass rush. So it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens. I don't think you can depend on Josh Uche having double-digit sacks again without Matthew Judon. I think we've kind of seen what Uche is gonna be. He's at his best when he has somebody on the opposite end of him. Let's go ahead. Let's get on to the ace. Says Diane. She said, "So Stat, you said you were looking for consistency. Did you see that today while you was at practice? Let's go ahead and get on to what happened today on the field."
Yeah, so I think that's a really good comment there. The first thing that I'd like to bring up is a guy that he was a big signer for us last year, Juju Smith-Schuster. Juju Smith-Schuster has been playing like one of the worst receivers that I've ever seen play live. He has been worse than some of the four stringers. He had a bad drop today, and then a couple days ago, Drake May, you guys all saw it, laid up a beautiful ball to him, and he had it, and then it got broken up by Marcus Jones. He doesn't have the explosiveness. He doesn't gain any separation anymore. Juju Smith-Schuster he's been consistent at being bad. That's the problem.
Right.
And then I was looking today for a lot of Tyquan. He was kind of quiet today. So I'm not really getting my hopes up with him. I'm still not sure if he's even going to make the team.
How were the one-on-ones today?
So a guy that stood out was Kayshon Boutte, and then another guy that stood out on the opposite side of the ball was Christian Gonzalez. We were talking about Christian Gonzalez, how he was getting beat the other day with no pads. He literally locked up every single guy he went against. Some of them didn't even get the ball thrown to them because there wasn't even an opportunity. KJ Osborne, for example, I posted that on my Instagram.
I seen that clip on Twitter. I seen a clip of KJ Osborne getting locked up.
But he got like, it was bad.
No separation. I ain't seen no separation at all.
And then Jalen Reagor got none either. They just forced a pass to him. But Christian Gonzalez is showing why he's going to be a DPOY candidate, in my opinion, for the next 10 years to come. So he was a standout today on defense. He was awesome. Jonathan Jones was awesome too. The cornerback room, not worried about it at all. We're really deep there. Even Marcellus Dial had a nice play today on, I forget who it was, but our defense is looking great. And look, the young receivers have been our best offensive players for like as of right now. Polk has been consistent. Yeah. Baker's making some big plays. So if you're asking for consistency, the two young guys have been the most consistent.
Yeah, Pop Douglas, he returned to practice today. How did he look? I know he was in a red non-contact jersey. I don't think, did he participate in team drills?
No, he did. He did like the first couple warm-up drills. They did a couple routes, side by side where they have two quarterbacks thrown on different sides. He did those. His footwork's unbelievable. He's moving super well. So it's not a lower body thing, thank God. It's a hand thing, but it's minor because he still looks perfectly fine when he catches the ball. I think they're just being precautionary with him because he's a lock on this roster. He's going to be a staple for your team.
I can't wait to see them pop in the slot out there, Javon Baker at X and Jalen Puckett Z. Because I think right now that's your best three wide receivers. Not counting Kendrick Bourne because we haven't seen him. And then when Bourne comes back, who knows how they're going to use him? I think they're going to ease him in because he's still on PUP. So yeah. I think if Kendrick Bourne doesn't get no time in the preseason, he's probably at risk of getting on PUP, or even if he doesn't go on PUP on the physically unable to perform list, I think they're going to ease him in. They just going, like Mayo said, to start count, the best guys are going to play. We ain't seen Kendrick Bourne play. He signed a big extension, but he hasn't played yet. So I don't think Bourne's going to just get thrust into the starting lineup just because he signed a big contract, just because he was probably a best receiver last year. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to stick with the young guys and then just probably just bring Bourne in. I know we talked about this the other night. If you got Pop Douglas and you got Polk Baker, those three, they're obviously going to make it. Kendrick Bourne's going to be this on the big time. It's just four. I mean, it's like four guys fighting for like two spots. It seems like. Who did you see? Have your opinions changed? Because I'm going with, I think I told you, I'm going with Pop, Polk, Baker, Bourne, Thornton, 5, and between Osborne and Reagor, but I'm leaning towards Reagor because of the special teams value for my 6 wide receivers. How you see it shaping out?
Yeah, so I'll make a post towards the end of the offseason on what I really think it's going to be, and it's still pretty early, but we're starting to get a good gauge on a lot. Obviously, Pop, Polk, Baker. When Bourne comes back, obviously he'll be there. I think KJ Osborne's a lock, in my opinion, on this roster. They look like they love using him. He didn't look. He actually had some.
He had an okay day today.
Yeah, he had some good moments. They were doing red zone drills on the other side. And he had some decent moments there. I think KJ Osborne makes the team, and I think Jalen Reagor does make it just for kickoffs, for special teams reasons, because you don't want to beat up Marcus Jones too much. You know what I mean? So yeah. I think he makes it for that, and then. I think Kayshon Boutte makes it. I just don't trust Tyquan. I just can't see Tyquan.
What more you have to see from Tyquan? Me personally, the day I'm drinking the Kool-Aid right now. He was making some plays in one-on-one. I think he went 3-0 against one-on-one. I didn't hear a lot from him from 11, but that's okay. He ain't got hurt. The past couple of years he's gotten hurt in training camp or in the preseason. Now, the final box he has to check for me is the preseason. I want to see him next week against the Panthers. I want to see him next week, and I want to see him in the joint practice. If he checks those boxes, he come out healthy. I'm buying a Taekwon Kool-Aid, man. I'm drinking. I think he's gonna make it. And plus, we need it. He's fast. He brings an element that nobody else brings except for Rager. But I mean, we kind of know what Rager is at this point. I think Taekwon, there's still some potential there.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. I gotta see a good preseason from Taekwon. You know, he can look good at camp. He can do all this stuff. And again, it's super early. I could be looking like an idiot not having him on this roster. He could go for like 800 yards next year. But I just don't right now on what is it the 30th. I don't have Tyquan Thornton making the team, but next Thursday, if he goes out and Tyquan's gonna see a lot of snaps that game.
Oh yeah,
goes out and he catches 5 for 50 and a touchdown, and he looks consistent. His route running looks better. My opinions are gonna change for sure. I'm still not really. I don't want to get too high on Tyquan yet, just because every time I do that with receivers on the Pats, it just never works out. I would love to see a breakout. I'm a Pats fan, obviously. I would love nothing more than Tyquan Thornton to surprise every single one of us. But as of right now, I'm going to go with the more proven guys, KJ Osborne. Keyshawn Butte is not more proven. I just think he's a little bit more of a safer pick. He's bigger. He's more physical. Tyquan obviously brings you the speed. And Tyquan's ceiling, I think, is a little higher than Butte's, actually, in my opinion. Just because, the skill set. You can run jet sweeps.
The speed.
Up in the backfield, yeah. But we'll see, man. We'll see. My opinion could change in less than 5 days. So that's where I'm at right now.
Jojo says, I have no clue how the Pats played today in training camp, but I was with Stats last year to see the Texans in preseason, and they looked atrocious. So if we had a bad day, we got to be patient.
Yeah, bad days, you can't just overreact to them. That's the problem. We talked about this on our first episode, I think. You can't flame the young guys. You can't. The Boston media needs to relax. They're rookies.
They already going crazy.
Especially Drake May, we'll get into him in a little bit. But
oh yeah,
these guys are so young, and it's such a big transition from even the highest level Division I college. Jalen Polk played at Washington. They were in the NCAA. They were in the championship. Jumping from that to the NFL, I don't think people understand how big of a difference that is. It is huge. That you're playing against grown men at this point. These guys have been there. We have a veteran-filled defense. It's a big jump, and I think people kind of don't really consider that, and they kind of just overreact about the rookies, and I don't think it's good for them. I really don't.
Let's see. Cannon Stats fashionably late. Like always, love you guys. Hey, we're here to bring you some of the best content. We sorry about that. We'll be better. Let's see. Let me see. But it's a good question about consistency. Obviously, you'd rather be stringing good days together than bad days. Good point, Joseph.
100%.
What is the deal with Judon? Been working all day. Was he out there today? He was not out there.
Nope.
APP out for
him.
He was not out there. Let's see. Okay, can I'm playing with you? Always wait. Yes, I appreciate it. It said, Ken, did your dance might moonwalk off the table and hurt yourself? What was he talking about? Talking about Drake made it?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Joseph, let me know what you're talking about. Owen 137. What's up, bro? Appreciate it. Hey, if y'all new here, make sure you hit that like. Even if you're not new, hit the like button on YouTube. Give me the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. If you're on Facebook, share the content. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever you're at. Make sure you share. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button. Appreciate it. What's up, Owen? Welcome to the chat, bro. Make sure you subscribe. Let's get into Drake May. We both of us came out yesterday. We vouched for him. Seeing he's playing with the backup offensive line, had some drops. He was overthrowing some receivers. You was there today. I don't know. How did you like? What's your feeling on today? I'm sure it couldn't have been. It had to be better than yesterday because yesterday was so bad. So how was your feeling today?
So day one of padded practice went pretty much how we expected. It's a big jump. He was probably going to struggle, and he did. And day two, again, he wasn't perfect by any means, but it was definitely a bigger improvement. He had some nice balls. He looked more confident out there. They were doing red zone drills. He was getting the ball out really quick. So that's what I like to see. Obviously, again, he had some accuracy problems today, but we knew that was coming when we drafted him.
Yeah.
You know, he's not no QB prospect is perfect. You're gonna have to live with some things, and that's where development comes in. And Jacoby Brissett didn't have a great day either. They both went 5 for 11 on 5 for 11 on 11s. Drake May actually did better on 7 on 7s. He had a couple balls today where he threw up 50-50s to receivers in the back of the end zone, and they could have gone either way. So I don't really put that on Drake May. I like him taking the shots. He had a ball to Baker. It was well played defense. It could have gone either way. I believe he had a drop. I know Juju had a drop for Brissett. But overall, you just got to see steps. The pads are a big step. That's your second step, and then third step's preseason, then fourth is playing real football. Yep. He already looked better the second day of pads, which is what you want. If he was good yesterday and he looked bad today and he was trending down, you don't want to see that. But he's trending up, and just take it step by step. On Thursday, we want to see even better, a couple more shots to the end zone, and then by the last day of training camp, we want to see Drake May having some consistent nice plays. And he's connecting with Jalen Polk really well right now. Actually, they seem to have some good camaraderie. So
yeah, Jalen Polk is going off, man. We actually got a comment. Baker and Polk are dogs. Yeah, just about to say, man. Jalen Polk has been balling. Javon Baker has been MVP of camp, I think, so far. Both of them. It has a transition to the preseason, which is the next step, and it needs to transition to the regular season. But Polk and Baker, I think we hit on these 2 draft picks. Finally, I'm a knock on wood, but finally, I think we finally hit on 2 wide receivers. On Drake May, some players are gamers. Like they play good when the lights are bright, and they play when the ball's on the field, when the game really matters. Maybe that's when Drake's really going to show us what number 3 overall pick put to look like. Some players are not good practice players, and I'd rather him make them mistakes and camp and practice than make him into the game. Because if he's going through a rough patch right now, guess what? We can say that okay, he's seen it, he know what he can't do. So let's just wait till the season starts, see if he make that same mistake again because he done seen it. But what I was hearing, he was kind of late on his reads, kind of rushing it a little bit. So let's see when the games really start. Maybe in the preseason he might show us something, and we might be having a different opinion next week. I think a lot of people are panicking and going crazy right now. Part of it is because of the media and whatnot, because he's held to a higher standard. Your number 3 overall pick, and a lot of people saying they haven't seen that from him yet. He hasn't been bad, but he hasn't been great either. So but we all knew when he came in that we all knew he came in there was a big deal, that his footwork was a problem. Actually, so basically we're seeing what we knew before he came in, so it shouldn't be a surprise. And May already said that Brissett is the most pro-ready quarterback, so shouldn't be a shocker to nobody right now that Drake is struggling or whatever's going on that Brissett is leading. But hey, I will remind people we do have a month left. We got a week till preseason start. I want to see when the games really start, when it's live action. And I would love to see Drake May get some run with the first team offense, mainly the first offensive line.
Yeah, so I have a couple great things to say off the points you brought up. Great points, Ken. So the first thing is that if people expect this is the problem, right? People that aren't as dedicated and as knowledgeable as like some other people just expect Drake May to just go out there and just light it up right away, and that's not possible for a rookie quarterback. It's not. Like I said, the jump from college to the NFL, it's physically not possible to just go out the gate and just light it up. Even if you start week 1. There's no way you had a perfect training camp, So there's going to be a lot of work no matter what. Drake May is still a kid. He's 21 years old. He's playing against guys that are in their late 20s who have been in the league for like 7 years, and they're almost all pro players. So there's nothing to worry about there if you guys are, concerned about that. And Drake May still we are only 6 days in. Obviously right now, Brissett's the starter. Drake May has a month to prove. I'm not saying I want Drake May to start. I'm totally fine with Jacoby Brissett starting. But if Drake May shows us in, the next month that, wow, he's finally starting to grow into it. He's starting to feel himself a little bit. He could start week 1. We know what Jacoby Brissett is. He's been the same all training camp. He makes, one nice throw every practice. The rest, just simple in the middle throws. And I think Brissett could surprise people this year if he does start. I think he could be like Geno Smith in Seattle. But
that's what I was thinking.
Drake May has a month left. We are 6 days into practicing. We already had people flaming the kid. We need to relax with him. The second offensive line unit is a massive drop off. Our first unit has looked great. They're finally starting to click in, and I finally think we have a unit. And Caden Wallace is the future at left tackle. I'm just telling you that right now. He's a stud. But the drop off from first to second team offensive line is
massive.
We have guys on the second offensive line that should not even be in the NFL. Like Vidarian Lowe. I said this yesterday. He cannot be starting. Drake May has no time.
Tyrone Weekly.
Yes. And when he's working on his footwork, that's not going to help him out because he has zero time, and he's got Keon White right in his face a second after he snaps the ball. And one more thing, Antonio Mafia is playing center. He can't even snap the ball.
He can't snap the ball.
It's so bad. So we got to relax with Drake May a little bit. We also got a lot of important guys out. David Andrews, I think having a stable center for Drake May will help him out a lot more because Nick Leverett has looked really good at center. But Antonio Mafia on the second team, I don't even think he's going to make it, to be honest. He has looked terrible.
What do you think the offense is trying to figure things out? They're improving. Yeah, I think the offense is really improving. Like I said, in the past training camp, it's been defense dominant. This year, the offense has been whipping tail, I think. And I'm not saying they're going out and winning their practice, but it's night and day difference than what's been in the past. We've been making some plays on the offense. Defense have been smothered now. And saying all that, we have been missing some players up front, pass rushers, but still, though, you got your secondary intact. Most of your linebackers, your team is intact. And the young guys are making plays. So I really think the offense has really improved.
Yeah. Way better than last year. I was there last year too. The offense literally had days because even when the offense this year has off days, they at least have a few plays of note. Last year there was some days where there wasn't a single thing to talk about with the offense.
I'm hearing the running game looking good too.
Yeah, and it's a lot because of the offensive line. They've been really good, especially like I said, the right side. You know, Micah Wenu and Chucks have been pretty solid over there.
Diane says, I feel good about Jalen Reagor. I think he made a couple plays in one-on-one today, but we just have to wait and see on Jalen Reagor. He comes and goes. So it'd be very interesting to see if he can be consistent when he plays against his former team in a couple weeks, have a joint practice against the Eagles. So that should be interesting. Team that draft him. Judge said White is the size of an outhouse. He has to start Manhattan offensive line. Yeah, he looks like a mean guy too.
I remember I said this a few weeks ago, and I hate tapping myself on the back for things, but I remember I said you need to move Keon to the interior, and they did it.
Yeah, you did say that.
Looks great. He's thriving there. He's too big to be an edge rusher. I'm telling you that right now. He looks great in the interior in replacement for Barmore and Godshaw, who's doing his own thing. I don't know what Godshaw's doing, but, you know, Keon White is thriving right now. That's all I got to say.
Agreed, man. You guys have been all over. Juju is all done here. Only question is, can you get like a 6th-round pick for him? If he had a bad drop today, didn't he?
Horrible. He did like a 10-yard out to the sideline, and Jacoby timed it perfectly. He threw it right as he broke off his route, and right.
So it wasn't a bad throw or nothing.
No, perfect throw because it was pretty good coverage too. Because again, we know Juju gets no separation at all. It was a perfect throw. Then. It was a perfect throw, and he put his hands out, just hit him, and dropped. It was. I'm like, dude, that might be the end of Juju because plays like that for fringe players matter. Like those are the plays that make or break if you're gonna make the team or not. And he's just not doing. He hasn't done anything yet.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Juju Smith-Schuster, especially with the young guy. They're gonna kick him. They're gonna knock him right off the roster. Kevin Roberts said, "Appreciate it, Kevin. I don't think Tyquan makes it. I think Tyquan make it. I think he makes it if he keeps it up." He doesn't get hurt or start dropping passes and fall off the face of practice off the earth. I think he makes it. I think he need to have if he has a solid preseason. Tyquan's on the roster.
Yeah, man, he's been solid. I need to see another week or two out of him, but we'll see.
So in free agency, do you think we throw a bag at T. Higgins? It depends on how this season go. If we have our one on the roster, which a lot of people don't think we have, but if these rookies continue to ball out. And somebody separate themselves from the pack, become a legitimate number one, I don't think we go out there and do it because then you got Baker, Pope, Pop, Bourne has a big deal. Then you got T. Higgins, the 5th guy there. I mean, I'm not saying T be a 5th wide receiver because you put T. Higgins on this team. You got T. Higgins, Pop Douglas, Pope, Baker, Bourne. You pay Bourne probably your 5th receiver, and he just got a 3-year contract. I don't think that makes sense. So it just all depends on what happens this year. What you think about that, Stat?
I mean, obviously T. Higgins is like a sexy name. People like to hear, T. Higgins, but after this year, a year from now, we could be talking a lot differently. Jalen Polk could be a top 20 receiver in football, or
Hmm.
Javon Baker.
And then you don't have no room to add T. Higgins.
Yeah, and T. Higgins won't even be like, a thought in our minds. We might not even go after a single receiver next year. We could have our guys immediately, like the Rams found out last year, like the Texans found out with Tank Dell. So we'll see. Would I like to sign T. Higgins if that's not the case? Absolutely. T. Higgins would help this team vitally, and he would help, the two young guys if they don't hit like we think they're gonna. Um, but as of right now, obviously adding a guy like that makes your receiving core look way better. But I think you gotta wait on this year. Gotta see how they look because the two young guys have been your best receivers. So it's looking pretty good for them right now.
Speaking of wide receivers, is trading Matthew Judon for Ayuk a W? I don't think it'll just be a straight up deal for Judon Ayuk. There's no way they're doing that. It'd be Judon and a couple picks or something like that. But we talked about this a couple weeks back. Um, I guess San Francisco could. I mean, they love their pass rushers, but it'd probably be Judon in like a. I do Judon in like a second or something like that. But I'm not giving up a first round pick, especially when it might be top 10. I'm not doing that. I'll
No.
just throw it back at him in the offseason. But I give him Judon in a second next year and see if they'll take that.
I would do that. You have to do that. You as much as I love Judon, you got to do that. That Ayuk takes pressure off the younger guys of an immediate top 15 receiving core in the league.
They have to throw it back. Joseph said they have to throw it back at some wide receiver unless these rookies both explode. At least if they decide not to sign here, what can you do? They go after alpha wide receiver. I would love to have CD Lamb, but I think that deal is gonna get done here probably this week or next week. Dallas, they're not letting him go. Then they got to pay Dak too. So CD will be in Dallas. That's my prayer would be CD. T Higgins. I don't think he's a speedster. He's a big. I don't know. We don't even know if he's a number one. He play out opposite Jamar Chase. We don't know if he's a one yet. So he could be getting a lot of numbers because he's opposite of Jamar Chase. Brandon Ayuk, he's on a loaded offense too. So, but I could pull up the wide receiver market in a little bit. Probably next show I pull it up. But I would take CD if I had the opportunity. But I don't think he's gonna make it to next year.
No, I don't think so either. I think Dallas is gonna lock him up for sure.
Joseph says Taquan the tease through it, and he's like a villain out of Batman. Hey man, Joseph, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid right now, man. I hope I didn't jinx him. Knock on wood. I don't want him to get hurt or nothing like that. But I'm drinking the Kool-Aid right now. He's the thing that sealed it for me, that stuck a fork in and put ice on it for me was the fact that the first couple days in pads, I've been hearing his name. He hasn't got hurt. He in a player of his caliber, he looks good without the pad. They put the pads on, he's really been balling out. So let's see if we can continue. Owen said, "Yo, how does your message appear on the screen?" I do. I got the option to put them up on the screen right here, Owens. Continue commenting. Appreciate it. Hey, if seven, yeah, make sure y'all hit that like button on YouTube, share the content on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever you at. Make sure you share and like the comment. Like the content. Me and my member what stats putting in some lot of work, man. Appreciate y'all. Sports Academy, typical Boston fan base. We are a tough fan base, but I guess that's why we win so many titles. Yep. Hey, we're hearing it right now.
Yep.
I'm not going to panic until the games really matter. And then if you look around, everybody want to talk about Drake May struggling, but look around the league. JJ McCarthy, he's struggling in practice. Caleb Williams threw a couple interceptions the other day. Bo Nix, he's not even starting so far. I mean, he's basically a veteran. He's like 25 years old. He's really considered a veteran. Who else? Jaden Daniels, he's probably going to start because Marcus Mariota is going to be backing him up. And Jaden Daniels is one of the most pro. He's a couple years older than Drake May, so he should be starting. So I wouldn't panic just yet, man.
Well, also
it's way too early.
Yeah, another thing is I wouldn't say Drake's looked bad. I don't think he's looked bad. I just think he's looked like a rookie. Drake has had some plays that throw to Jalen Polk a couple of days ago. That was one of the best throws of camp. Not even just the Patriots, any camp. That was a perfect throw. We're seeing flashes with Drake May. He has not looked bad. I want to get that straight with all Pats fans. He has had rookie plays.
He just hasn't looked like the number 3 overall pick.
Yes, but again, we're 6 days into camp, so we need to just chill out on the kid. We have to. He is, like you said, Bo Nix, 24 pushing 25. So is Daniels. Daniels is in college for 5 years. Drake May is 21 years old. We have to relax with this kid.
Relax. Georgia says your intro. Let me see.
I think the dancing mic
Yeah,
probably.
sorry, Kenny. Meant your intro where your mic is dancing. Oh, appreciate it, Joseph. Got a lot of comments on that intro. Diane Stevenson looking good. Yeah, he's slimmer. Like I said on the other show, he looks faster. And I heard the past couple of days, I guess what's the running back name? Terrell Jennings, I think, from a college in Florida. He's been balling. Kevin Harris, the running game, they it is tough to tell with these practice, but the running game's been popping, man. You know we want to run the ball.
So just straight rushing, Kevin Harris has been our most consistent back. Actually,
Does he look faster this year?
Yeah, but he's also we saw it in the Chiefs game last year. We've seen it a couple times. Arizona a couple years back. He's good at shedding off tackles off the line. He is, and he's that's his specialty, and he's been showing that lately. He's got pretty good vision too at the line. I'm hoping Kevin Harris can be a solid third string running back for us.
I like Antonio Gibson too. I heard he had a pretty good run today.
Yeah, Gibson's just he's so reliable, super solid.
He's starting to come on.
Yep.
Kevin Ross, but I think we have some young key wide receiver pieces. Look at how the Packers good. I love this point right here, but I think we have some young key wide receiver pieces. Look at how the Packers develop the wide receivers. That's where Elliott Wolf comes from. Van Pelt come from the Packers too. He was with Cleveland. He coached Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. I think our wide receiver core is shaping out to be looking like the Green Bay Packers. How they got Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Dontavion Wicks, and they got Malik Heath, Bo Melton. They got like 5 or 6 wide receivers. They don't have a legit number one. They got a bunch of guys they've drafted pretty good. And I think Elliott Wolf is trying to build that team like how Green Bay has on the Packers.
Well, if you really look at it, you can kind of compare like Pop to Jaden Reed, both slot guys. Christian Watson, I guess you can compare to Jalen Polk, but I think Jalen Polk's ceiling is higher than Christian Watson.
Yeah.
And then you can compare, I guess, Dobbs or Wicks to Baker.
Baker.
Baker's ceiling is also higher than both theirs, but they're all similar players, the ones that I named. Reed, if Douglas can turn into a Jaden Reed, that's an incredible player. Jaden Reed is an incredible player. And I would, if our receivers can turn out like theirs next year, that's perfect scenario.
Yep, I said to a guy to my boy the other day on the phone, I think we're building this team to look like the Green Bay Packers. How I think what Green Bay's doing now is what the Patriots are going to be in a few years too. They're starting to build. Now Green Bay's in the Super Bowl competition. They're in the Super Bowl conversation, and they got a young quarterback on a rookie contract. Well, they just paid them the other day, but now it's not Green Bay. That's Jordan Love's making those guys even better than what they are. Christian Watson can't stay healthy, but just imagine if he can stay healthy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Let's see. Before you guys get off tonight, can you at least predict who you think right at this moment is our week 1 starting quarterback? And second, do you think Matthew Judon is on his team week 1? The second question, I think Judon will be on the team. I ain't seen that report. I think I seen something on Twitter what Phil Perry said. If a reporter reported, I'm assuming that it's probably going to happen soon. Man, who knows? We got like a month to the season start till games matter. But Judon was not at practice today. I'm sure he probably get fined for that. I don't know about that, but he probably get fined. And to your first question, I think we had to speak right. He has to pick right now to be Jacoby Brissett. I don't think it's close right now to be Brissett.
Yeah, so I think Matthew Judon's on this team too. I just think all this is just I don't really think this is all gonna matter in a couple weeks. I think we're gonna have him signed. I think we're all gonna be looking back at it. And then right now it's Jacoby Brissett. Actually, Jerome Mayo actually said today, if it's a tie, then he's giving it to Brissett, which in my mind kind of almost is Jerome Mayo saying that he kind of thinks they're maybe even right now. Because obviously Jerome Mayo's not stupid. He sees Drake May is just way more talented than Jacoby Brissett. Yeah. But Brissett has been
long term
the more consistent quarterback. And I already said this, but if Jacoby Brissett can turn into Geno Smith and Baker and Polk can hit, you got a solid offense right there.
Owens 130. Do you think Pop is going to break out this year? Yes, sir, I do. I think Pop breaks out this year. I think he can be he had 50 something catches last year for 600 yards. I think 500-600 yards, and he missed 3 or 4 games with a concussion. If he can stay healthy, I think he could be a consistent about 700-800 to 1,000 on receiver. I'm not gonna say 1,000 because we're gonna throw the ball around, but I think he could be a consistent 800 receiver yard on 800-yard receiver on wide receiver and probably about 67 catches. I think he can do that easily. He gets open. He's a jitterbug in the slot. He's your most explosive playmaker. I really think he could be a consistent 700-800 yard receiver every year, if not 1,000, just depending on how much better he can get. I only think Pop is hit his peak yet. He was a 6th rounder last year, and a rookie put up these numbers. Like if we hit on Pop, which I think we already did, and these 2 receivers, there's 2 back-to-back draft classes where we drafted wide receiver pretty good.
Yeah, so if I had to pick a receiver that's going to lead us in receptions next year, I think it's a pretty clear choice that's going to be Pop Douglas because he's going to be in the slot. He's going to be there for Brissett in May, and he, like you said, he's open all the time. His feet are super quick. I think if he was in a more wide receiver friendly situation, he can go for 1,000 yards this year.
Oh yeah,
like I said, we just got a lot of guys around him because KJ is gonna get his catches. Obviously Polk and Baker are gonna get when Kendrick Bourne comes back, he's gonna get his catches. But I agree. I think he's gonna be around the 700-800 mark. He didn't score a touchdown last year. Pop is still.
That's what I was gonna say. He put up. He reminds me of Jacoby Myers. Put up good stats his first couple years, but hadn't scored a touchdown. I think Pop gets in the end zone at least like 5-6 times this year. He got to. He was close a couple times last year.
Yeah, he was. I think Pop is a much better player or has a higher ceiling than Jacoby Myers. But Pop Douglas had a lot of key 3rd down conversions, especially in that Buffalo Bills game when we beat them at home. I'm super excited to watch him this year. I think he's gonna pop. Literally,
that was kind of his coming out party against Buffalo.
Oh yeah, that game because he was great on the punt returns too.
Joseph said, so true. Everything Drake does is put under a microscope. He could tie his cleats the wrong way and people would freak out. Yeah. True. You notice on Twitter when Drake is like an incomplete pass overthrow, they say that. But then there's another thing, do they not put touchdowns as stats or something during training camp? Because I don't see nobody saying that about touchdown. I only see interceptions or whatnot. So are they not?
Sorry. So the thing is we haven't done a lot of red zone work yet. We're kind of working like the middle of the field. So when they start counting touchdowns, it's more towards the red zone because they don't tackle each other. So the guys always finish and run to the end zone every time. Those don't count as touchdowns. I mean, there's been a few throws that would probably be touchdowns, but they don't really start counting those until they get into consistent red zone work, which I think is probably going to start maybe at the end of this week or early next week.
Probably Thursday.
Yeah, because they haven't really worked on the red zone a lot. I think they're just trying to ease into things, especially because we have such a young team.
I like what they're doing, though.
Yeah, I agree. I like how Mayo's running the practices, and that's when they start keeping stats like that. Right now, it's kind of just easing into things, starting off easy, but then it only gets tougher from here for the young guys. So they need to be ready.
Agreed. Let's see. Do you guys think we can make some noise this year? Depends on what. I mean, be better than last year, yeah. Make playoffs. It's gonna be tough. I mean, but hey, every year a team that made the playoffs make a good run, and they don't make it the next year. That team that didn't make it, they make it. They make a good run. Around this time last year, nobody knew nothing about the Houston Texans. They was a disaster. They was not a good team, and they made it. But I know that's once in a lifetime thing. But let's just see, man. But right now, expectations are really low. I don't really see them making a lot of noise. But I definitely think we can be a tough out for a lot of teams, though.
Well, yeah, we're a better team than last year. I'll just quickly say this. We're not going to be we're not going to be losing games like 6-0 or like 10 to 10 to 6.
That was crazy.
It's gonna be a different year this year, and you're not gonna want to play in New England, no matter what our record is. We're gonna be a tough out, like you said. The next comment: do you think we make a trade for the November 5th trade deadline? We'll see where you gotta wait till you see where we're at.
Yeah, too early to tell on that right now. We don't know how the teams are gonna look, what other teams are gonna need. Too early on that, but yeah, pretty good question though. Oh, do you guys think we can make? Okay, we just got into that one. So the Patriots are clearly in rebuild, but they're making the right decision. Like you guys have said, we need Patriot Nation to be patient, and the results will be there. Might be 2 seasons. Yeah, I think 2 seasons. I think about 2 this year, and let's see where we at next year.
Yeah, and I've been saying this to everyone. You can't just count a team out of the playoffs right before, no matter what organization it is. We could be back. We could be back this year for all we know. Obviously, that's probably most likely not going to happen, but. I agree. We are making all the right decisions. We're getting a lot of bargain deals for good players, like Jelani Tavai. So I'm happy.
Man, I think the Osane Zimenez. I think that deal is gonna gonna be a good deal for. He's been standing out in practice. I think today he had another good day. So I can't. I think I'm not saying he's gonna be a 12, 15 sack guy, but I definitely think he can live up to it. Over. I think he can exceed his contract that what we're giving him.
Well, yeah, the thing is, especially if Judon, God forbid, gets traded, that's a guy that you're gonna have to have step up in his replacement. So he's in prime position to break out.
Just say yes, running game could turn out to be huge for Drake, assuming he's a start. Yeah, I think Drake's gonna need that running game. You look at some of his tape in Carolina; he's good off the play action, the PA boot, and he can also go shotgun too. But I think he fits the Van Pelt scheme. Just we got to give Drake some time, man. Give him some time. Still raw. I want to see where he's at after these 3 preseason games and the joint press. Then I have a better feel about the expectation for the team and Drake may head into week 1.
100%. Said it perfectly.
So I'm looking for a little more creativity on offense this year. I've had enough of the vanilla offense. We need to utilize these players to their fullest potential. I think this year we're going to get that. I mean, now we are going to be running the ball a lot, I feel, but I think the play we didn't do a lot of running and play action last year. It's mainly we go out there, shotgun. It was like the Josh McDaniels, Bill O'Brien old system. It was shotgun, throw it like these slants or a curl or like a drag screen. It was vanilla, like you said, Sports Academy. But I think this year, Van Pelt, he's a quarterback guru. He's going to bring more creativity to the offense because he is a West Coast scheme, but he can also do the play action, he can do shotgun, he can do a lot. So I think we're going to see a lot more creativity this year, and we got better playmakers.
This is my favorite comment of the night. Even if you go 2-15, you want to see more creative offense. You want to see more playmakers. You want to see more plays being made. You want to see more points on the board, to play it simple. My favorite comment of the night right there. You need to see potential this year at some point at some position. You know, you need to see, even if Jalen Polk and Javon Baker don't have the craziest, first 6 weeks, at some point in the season, we haven't had this in a while, besides Pop, you need to see potential consistently at an offensive position. We have not had a stable offense since 2000. I wouldn't even count Brady's final year, since 2018, because even Brady's final year, our offense wasn't great. We need to see consistency at skill positions, and we haven't had it in a while, so we're so due for it. But I really think this is the year that we finally do.
Yep, I sure hope so. I mean, we need him. I think we've been a laughing stock on offense the past couple years. The defense has been fine, but the offense has to get going, man. I think they will this year. Who do you see that could be released? Good question. Who do you see that could be released that the Patriots could add to the practice squad that would be a steal? Maybe like a Marco Wilson. Maybe he's been coming out the past couple of days. I like the running back, but I haven't heard. But I want to see what you say about this. The running back, Deshaun Fenway. Have you seen him do anything? He might be a preseason guy. He might be a preseason back.
Yeah, he's going to be a guy that's going to come in the third quarter in games when you have lit all your backups in. But he's going to have to show himself. He's been really quiet at camp. Again, he doesn't get a ton of reps. But I like the Marco Wilson answer for sure. If I had to pick one for myself, I'd probably say that's a really tough question. Because, a guy like Juju Smith-Schuster's not going to be on your practice squad. You know what I'm saying? So
no.
So it's going to have to be a younger guy. I'll go Sean Wade. He's been redshirt, but he hasn't had a good camp at all.
It seems like there's always something wrong with him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
bro, I was just thinking this earlier, like he's always out. It seems like there's always something going on with him, man.
He's always banged up, but he hasn't had a good camp. He looks kind of slow. I don't know if it's because he's hurt, whatever's going on with him, who knows. But he's always, for the past couple of years, he's been a solid backup cornerback. So if we can keep him on the practice squad, I think that'd be cool. I just don't think he's going to make the final roster.
Too many corners.
One player that I'll say that's been really impressive really quick has been Isaiah Bolden. I think he's going to make.
I was just about to ask you about him.
Has been incredible, and he brings great energy. He is on 100% making this team. Just remember I said that.
Is he rocking the 24 this year or
29?
29. That's right. I forgot about.
Yeah, he's got the.
What's happening?
Yeah, he's got I forget what helmets. I forget what those helmets are called. The one that Zeke had last year. He's a pretty cool guy to watch out there.
Yeah, coached by Deion Sanders, prime time.
Oh yeah.
Let's see what's happening with Devon Gottsdal. I know his agent was in town yesterday. I thought something normally if the agent's in town, they're talking with the owner and the GM or the person that pray you think something to get done, but we haven't heard anything. So a lot of times these things they're already done, but it take a while for them to release the details of it, finalize things. So we definitely see. I just think
Yeah,
it's weird that agents in town and nothing still didn't get done. So
it's weird for sure. But me and Ken broke that down in our last video. If you want to go check that out, we talked in depth about Devon Godshaw and that whole situation. So
Joseph said, "You guys blasted through another hour of my shift. It goes by too fast, but I love it. Keep it up." Hey, yes, sir, man. We here to stay. Appreciate it, Joseph. Appreciate it. And from the other 32 team practice squads as well. I'm trying to think of a player that could get on a they can get put on the practice squad from other teams. That's interesting. We got the cut down days after the third preseason game. So if
I got one.
yeah, go ahead.
I'll go with Marquez Valdez-Scantling for the Bills. I don't know if he's a
Yeah.
consistent enough receiver to make their final roster. They're kind of in the same position as us. They got a ton of just twos like Samuel, Shakir, maybe Keon Coleman can pop. I don't really love their receiving room. I think he could maybe be a guy that ends up on their practice squad.
I'm thinking of a pass rusher maybe from anybody, practice squad or somebody that has a lot of depth, but he's a good player, just wasn't good enough to make the team because they got enough pass rushers. If any pass rusher gets released, I think they'd be any one of them. If they solid, they'd be a good fit for the Patriots.
Oh,
I think we're gonna need them.
I messed up that question. I thought it was asking who could you see from other teams not making it. That's I didn't even think about us. That's on me. Yeah, I'd probably say edge rusher too with the position we're in now for sure.
Yeah, for sure, edge rusher. Let's see. One more comment. Owen said, "Do you guys think Uche could be good like he was a couple years ago?" Depends on what's going on opposite him. He's not a guy because he really is not good against the run. But I think with this new defense, Mayo and Covington's gonna run. I think it fits Uche a little better. He's been getting to the quarterback. Have you seen him there at camp?
Yeah,
They're
he's
not
always
calling a lot of sacks at practice, but you can't hit the quarterback. But he's been getting there.
Yeah, he's always been super quick off the line, and he has a really good swim move sometimes, and he's super fast. Again, not great against the run, but and to answer your comment, he needs someone on the other side of him that's going to be just as good, if not better. He can't be the number one, unfortunately. We've kind of seen that, and I think Uche is a solid player when he's alongside an elite player. He's a near Pro Bowl edge rusher. He played phenomenal in 2022. But unfortunately he does need someone on the other side. I like Anthony Jennings. I don't think he's the guy to make Uche play better. So I think Uche needs a guy like Judon to thrive.
I would think any true Pats fan felt the last year or two like being on a deserted island, just looking for a drip of water. The record is what it is. Can we please get some offensive juice back? I think so this year, man. We might be a bad team, but I definitely think it's going to look a lot better. So I'm not gonna say we're gonna be a bad team. I think we're gonna be a pretty good team. I'm gonna speak that into existence, man. We'll see what happens.
Sure.
Owen said agreed. Hey man, it was a bunch of y'all in here tonight. Me and Stats appreciate it. Man, we will be back tomorrow night, probably Saturday. There's no practice tomorrow, so we're gonna come back tomorrow night and talk some Patriots ball with y'all, and then probably preview the Hall of Fame preseason game on Thursday between the Bears and the Texans. We're gonna talk a little bit about that and some expectations for count for the Patriots. Drake made expectations on Thursday when they get back on the field. But hey, it's 12 of y'all in here right now with a bunch of y'all in here tonight. Hit the like button on YouTube. When I get off, I want to see 10, 11 likes up there, man. If everybody's watching, go to YouTube, give me a thumbs up, hit the like button. LinkedIn, make sure you share the content over there. Instagram, Facebook, like, share. Make sure you subscribe to YouTube. I appreciate it. Me and Stats appreciate each and every one of y'all. We'll be back tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern. We'll be on time tomorrow. Appreciate it.
Everyone, real quick, make sure to go subscribe to Ken right now. We gotta get him to 300, man. He deserves it. But thank you guys all for tonight, and we'll be back tomorrow.